Hey, Corey Lancaster here with the Lancaster team of Extra Right Realty, bringing you another episode of Real Estate Talking. Today I want to talk about interest rate locks, okay? First of all, you need to know what is your interest rate lock, okay? Interest rate lock is when you lock in your interest rate, okay, which you won't do until you find a property and get your offer accepted by a seller. Your lender will lock in your rate at that time, not before, but at the time that your contract has been ratified. Your lender will get the contract, lock in your interest rate, okay? The question you need to know and you need to ask your lender is how long is that interest rate lock period for, okay? It can vary, okay? You can have a 30-day lock period, a 45-day lock period, a 60-day lock period. And typically in today's market, we're seeing 45-day lock periods, okay? Especially because the lenders kind of backed up. You're typically not seeing 30-day lock periods right now. Typically 45, I would say, is probably the standard. What those time frames represent in terms of the lock period means is once you go into contract and your interest rate is locked in on this day, you have until that end of that lock period, in my example, 45 days to close on that loan, okay? If you do not close by the time that lock period expires, then you may have to pay an additional fee to extend the interest rate lock period, okay? So you ratify today, your lender locks in your rates. He locks it in for 45 days. 45 days come and go. Every day beyond that 45 days, your lender is going to charge you a fee to extend it, okay? You may say, well, can't he just start it over? If the interest rate has not changed, can he just start it over and give you another 45-day lock period? No, that's not the way it works. You got to extend it. If you're staying with that lender, you got to extend it and you have to pay the lock fee. That's going to vary. It's going to vary on how much the loan amount is, how long the lock period is going to be. If it's going to be a few days, if it's a week, if it's 2 weeks. If it's 1 or 2 days, your lender might just eat it. He might not charge you. He may just take care of it himself, but he may not. So it's definitely a conversation you want to have with the lender, okay? And sometimes your interest rate might be based upon what lock period that you have, okay? So if you're doing a 60-day lock period, the interest rate could be slightly, not a whole lot, but it could be slightly higher because for the lender, the longer the lock period, the bigger the risk, right? Interest rates are all based off of risk. So he's locking you in at this super low rate right now, and if rates go up, right, he loses out. Okay, so the longer that lock period gives more time for the volatility of the market, which then may cost you a higher interest rate, okay? Typically speaking, like I said, 45 days, typically you won't see any change in your interest rate with 30 or 45 days, but when you start getting to 60 or even longer, that's when you may see differences in your interest rate. So hopefully this has been helpful to you because I get a lot of questions, a ton of questions. People say, well, how long is this interest rate good for? That's the question you want to ask your lender is what is the interest rate lock period? All right. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you're looking for homes in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, reach out to me. We can certainly help you here at the Lancaster team. I can always be reached at 240-988-3173. Have a good one. Be safe and call me with any questions whatsoever.